Have you ever noticed how we're perpetually caught in this extraordinary game? This fascinating game where we're trying to define what it means to be spiritually awakened, as if spirituality was something you could possess, like a watch or a wallet. And yet, here I am, about to speak to you about the signs of women with high spiritual power. It's rather amusing, isn't it? The moment we try to pin down spirituality, to say, this is what makes someone spiritually powerful, we've already missed the point entirely. It's like trying to catch water with a net. The very nature of spiritual awareness defies our attempts to categorize it, to turn it into a checklist of attributes. But let's play this game together, shall we? Let's talk about these signs not as definitive markers, but as ripples on the surface that might hint at the depths below. The first sign: she understands the art of letting go. The first thing you might notice about a woman with profound spiritual awareness is her remarkable ability to let go. Not in the sense of being passive or indifferent. Oh no! Rather, she has intuitively grasped something that most of us struggle with our entire lives. That to hold on tightly is to strangle the very thing you're trying to preserve. You see, most of us go through life clutching desperately at experiences, relationships, and identities, as if we could somehow freeze time and make permanent what is, by its very nature, impermanent. We're like children at the seashore, building elaborate sandcastles while frantically trying to hold back the tide. But this woman, she builds her sandcastle with complete absorption and delight, knowing full well that the tide will come, and when it does, she doesn't weep or rage against the sea. She smiles, perhaps a little sadly, and walks away with empty hands, ready for whatever comes next. She understands, you see, what the Taoists call Wu Wei, non-action, or perhaps more accurately, non-forcing. She flows with life rather than struggling against it. And in that flowing, in that letting go, she finds a freedom that the rest of us can only glimpse in our most lucid moments. Think of a tree in a storm. The rigid branches crack and break, while the supple ones bend and survive. She is like those supple branches, yielding to the winds of change without surrendering her essential nature. And paradoxically, it is precisely this willingness to let go that gives her an unshakable center. The second sign: she lives in the eternal now. The second sign is perhaps more subtle, but once you notice it, you'll never unsee it. This woman has somehow slipped free from time's relentless grip. While the rest of us are perpetually caught between regrets about the past and anxieties about the future, she dwells in the eternal now. Have you ever watched a child at play? Or a cat stretching in a patch of sunlight? There's a complete absorption in the present moment, isn't there? No thought of yesterday or tomorrow, just a pure, undiluted experience of now. That's how she lives. Now, don't misunderstand me. It's not that she's incapable of planning or learning from experience. Rather, she's recognized something fundamental about the nature of time that most of us overlook. That the past and future are mental constructs, useful fictions. The only reality we ever experience is this present moment, this eternal now. You might notice it in the way she listens, truly listens when you speak to her. Not half attending while mentally rehearsing what she'll say next, but giving herself completely to the moment of connection. Or perhaps in the way she savors a simple meal, or pauses to watch a sunset with the wonder of someone seeing it for the first time. It's a peculiar paradox. By fully inhabiting each moment as it arises, she seems to step outside of time altogether. And in doing so, she taps into a dimension of being that transcends our ordinary time-bound existence. The third sign: she embraces the shadow. Now, here's something truly remarkable about a woman with high spiritual power. She isn't afraid of the dark. And I don't mean the dark of night, but the darkness within the shadow aspects of the psyche that most of us spend our lives denying, repressing, projecting onto others. You see, our society has taught us a most peculiar idea, that to be spiritual is to be perpetually positive, loving, peaceful, to banish all negative emotions, all lower impulses, but she knows better. She understands that this is merely another form of self-deception, another way of dividing the universe into artificial categories of good and bad. This woman has the courage to embrace the totality of her being, the light and the shadow, the sacred and the profane. She knows that her anger contains energy and wisdom, that her grief carries the imprint of her capacity to love, that even her fear has something valuable to teach her. It's rather like the yin-yang symbol of Taoism, isn't it? The dark contains a spot of light, the light a spot of dark. They define and complete each other. You cannot have one without the other, just as you cannot have a front without a back, an up without a down. So when you meet such a woman, you might notice an unusual quality of authenticity about her. She doesn't present a carefully curated version of herself to the world. There's no spiritual bypassing, no toxic positivity, no pretense of having transcended her humanity. Instead, there's a wholeness, an integration that comes from having made peace with all aspects of herself. And paradoxically, it's precisely this willingness to face and embrace her shadow that allows her light to shine so brightly. For what we resist persists. What we embrace, we transcend. The fourth sign: she recognizes the self in all things. The fourth sign of a woman with high spiritual power is her intuitive understanding of interconnection. While most of us experience ourselves as separate entities, isolated egos encased in skin, peering out at a foreign world, she has glimpsed the underlying unity of all existence. It's a bit like what happens when you look at those paintings by Seurat from up close. All you see are distinct, separate dots of color. But step back, and suddenly a coherent image emerges. She has taken that step back and seen the larger pattern. This woman doesn't just intellectually understand that we are all connected. She feels it in her bones. She recognizes that the boundaries we perceive between self and other, between human and nature, between matter and consciousness, are convenient fictions rather than ultimate realities. You might notice it in the way she treats others, not as means to an end or objects to be manipulated, but as different expressions of the same consciousness that animates her. Or perhaps in her relationship with the natural world, not as resources to be exploited, but as kin to be respected and cherished. This isn't some lofty, abstract philosophy for her. It's a lived experience, and it fundamentally transforms how she moves through the world. For once you truly recognize that what you do to others, you do to yourself, that we are all fingers of the same hand, waves on the same ocean, how could you act from anything but compassion? There's a Hindu greeting, Namaste, that captures this perspective beautifully. The divine in me recognizes and honors the divine in you. That's how she lives, in constant recognition of the sacred that dwells within all things. The fifth sign: she dances between structure and spontaneity. The fifth sign is her remarkable ability to dance between structure and spontaneity, form and emptiness, order and chaos. Most of us tend to fixate on one pole or the other, either clinging to rules, routines, and certainties, or rebelling against all constraints in the name of freedom. But this woman has discovered something profound, that true freedom isn't found in either extreme, but in the dynamic balance between them. She knows when to surrender to structure and when to break free of it, when to accept limitations and when to transcend them. It's rather like a great jazz musician, isn't it? They master the technical aspects of their instrument and learn all the rules of music theory, only to then improvise, to play with those very structures, to use them as launching pads for creative expression rather than prisons that confine. You might notice this quality in how she approaches spiritual practice. She doesn't dismiss tradition or ritual as empty formalities, nor does she cling to them as if the form were the substance. Instead, she engages with them consciously, allowing them to shape her while simultaneously reshaping them through her unique expression. Or perhaps you'll see it in how she navigates life's contradictions and paradoxes, not trying to resolve them prematurely or collapse them into simplistic either, or thinking, but holding the tension between opposites until a deeper truth emerges. This capacity to dance between polarities, to be both structured and spontaneous, both disciplined and free, both grounded and transcendent, gives her a remarkable adaptability. Like water, she can take any form without losing her essential nature. The sixth sign. She lives as if death were her advisor. The final sign of a woman with high spiritual power is perhaps the most profound. She lives in conscious relationship with her own mortality, not in a morbid or fearful way, but with a clear-eyed acceptance that transforms how she experiences life. You see, most of us live as if we had all the time in the world. We postpone our joy, our purpose, our awakening to some imagined future that may never arrive. We accumulate possessions, achievements, grudges as if we could take them with us when we go. But this woman understands what the Zen masters call the great matter of life and death. She knows that each breath is a gift, each moment precious, precisely because it will never come again. Death isn't something she pushes away into the distant future. It's a companion that walks beside her, whispering, "Don't waste time. Don't get lost in trivialities. Remember what matters." There's a story about a Zen master who carried a cup of tea so full that it was spilling over the edges. When his student asked why he didn't just drink some to stop it from spilling, he replied, "I'm carrying this cup the same way you should carry your life, as if it were full to the brim with precious liquid that could spill at any moment." That's how she lives, with a keen awareness of life's fragility and impermanence that makes each experience more vivid, each connection more meaningful, each choice more consequential. Far from diminishing her joy, this awareness of mortality deepens it, strips away the trivial, and reveals what is truly essential. And perhaps most remarkably, this intimacy with death liberates her from the fear that paralyzes so many of us. For what is there to fear when you've already made peace with the inevitable? This is the ultimate freedom, not immortality, but reconciliation with mortality. Now, I've spoken of these 6 signs as if they were distinct qualities, separate threads in the fabric of being. But of course, they're not really separate at all. Each implies and contains all the others, just as each wave implies and contains the entire ocean. The woman who has mastered the art of letting go naturally dwells in the present moment. The one who embraces her shadow recognizes the self in all things. The one who dances between structure and spontaneity lives with death as her advisor. They are different facets of the same jewel, different notes in the same song. And here's the most marvelous secret of all. These qualities aren't exclusive to women, nor are they something you have to seek outside yourself. They are latent within each of us, man or woman, young or old, seeker or sage. They are not achievements to be attained, but remembrances of what you have always been. So perhaps instead of asking, "How do I recognize a woman with high spiritual power?" the better question might be, "How do I awaken these qualities within myself?" For in the end, the sign of true spiritual power isn't the ability to perform miracles or speak profound truths or attract followers. It's simply this: to be fully human, fully alive, fully present to the extraordinary mystery of existence. To remember, amid all the noise and distraction of modern life, what you truly are. And what are you? Nothing less than the universe itself, experiencing itself through the unique perspective that is you. Not separate from it all, but integral to it all, like a wave is integral to the ocean, neither identical nor distinct. If you've enjoyed this exploration of spiritual power, do subscribe to this channel for more contemplations on the nature of consciousness and reality. Press that like button if something resonated with you today. And I'm curious, which of these signs do you recognize in yourself or in the women in your life? Share your reflections in the comments below. Remember, the journey isn't about becoming something you're not. It's about unbecoming everything that isn't really you until all that's left is your true nature, which was there all along. Until next time, I bid you a fond farewell.